Saffron Fields is a score attack bullet hell, which sounds kind of generic until you see the ridiculous physics and incredibly tiny play area. Way different than I expected, although after playing the developer's other game, 1001st Hyper Tower, I shouldn't have been surprised. Saffron Fields grew on me as I kept playing. I was first put off by the physics, but realized they're in my favor. However, I don't think the game is going to be for everyone. Let me explain what's going on. The most obvious place to start is to explain why you're a tank. Actually, you're a person inside a tank, but you only ever control the tank, so you can imagine yourself as the tank if you want. But it's a short story. An army invades where you live, and you repaint a tank to fight them off. The goal of the game is to stay alive on a tiny piece of land through several waves of enemies. If you fall off, you'll lose a life, and if you run out of lives, it's game over. There are no hit points. It's all about staying on that platform. Of course, the game doesn't make it easy for you, but the more you play, the more you can understand how to give yourself an advantage. What's interesting is the tank can jump, which I will admit is a little odd. You have control in the air to pitch and roll to make sure it lands on the treads. It's useful, but depends greatly on which enemies you're facing. I didn't use it as much as the developer seems to think I'm going to need it, and jumping on top of enemies can be predictable. So it's a very dangerous jump. The physics in Saffron Fields is cranked up to 11, which on a scale of 1 to 10 is past the allowable amount. One little boop from a bullet or enemy and you're going to go flying off the stage. Some enemies add bullets to the stage while others are trying to ram you off. But instead of relying on your tank cannon, the best way to get the enemies off the platform is to boop them back. It gets crazy when there are a ton of enemies on the screen. It's hell on that miniature platform. Having the physics be so extreme also means weird stuff is going to happen. Unexplainable events which make you wonder how you survived, but it can lead to annoying deaths as well. For example, you will respawn and land on a mortar, which will immediately bounce you right back off the level. It can be a little frustrating, but I think it's worth it for the silliness and fun that's added. Now, the best way to stay alive is to take out the enemies before they can even do anything. Place your tank in their spawn location, and the physics might take care of the rest. It's not perfect, but usually they will flip over and be ejected right off the level. The next best way to stay alive is to dodge all the bullets. Sounds obvious, I know, but the enemies can shoot other enemies, so you might get lucky. If you do have to take a hit, then it's best to be driving right into it, because your little tank can take quite a beating. It will never blow up, but you are affected less by taking a hit on the front. Keep in mind you start with a limited amount of ammo and jumps, but the game is constantly spawning new drops for you to pick up, including more lives, which are key to survival. As much as I gave some hot tips for winning, you're going to fly off. It's inevitable. So snagging all the lives that are available can be the difference if you survive a level or not. And let me be clear, it is difficult to survive. Anyway, there are two game modes. First is the campaign, but there isn't much to say. You play through unlocking levels as you complete them. There are variations though to keep it interesting. For example, rocks, wind to push you off the level, and trying to keep a bus alive. I thought the first level was insane when I started, but wow, they keep getting more and more challenging as you progress. The second game mode is endless. Again, there isn't much to say. Any enemy type can be spawned in, and it's your job to survive. Pretty much what the normal game is. A score is kept and you compete on the online leaderboards. I'm pleased with myself for getting second, right behind the developer. I realize once the game comes out, I'm going to be crushed, but it's a small victory. One final note. Saffron Field is meant to be played with a keyboard and mouse. The menus only work with a mouse. That said, I found playing with a controller works and is my preferred method. It's a pain to switch between, but I do recommend it. Overall, Saffron Fields is an extremely difficult but fun arcade game. I really appreciate the developer's style they've brought to both their games I've played. While Saffron Fields is challenging, it's not impossible, but I cannot stress enough that it's not going to be for everyone. The physics can be a little wacky, and it's a really small game. I slightly recommend Saffron Fields, but only if this video interested you. I am enjoying the challenge, but it's not going to change your mind. Thanks for watching. I'm a fan of what this developer is creating, even if it's not always what I'm enjoying playing. What do you think?